All right. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing this fine morning? Just making sure that we are, in fact, live. Yep, sounds like we're all set. All right, let me pull up the chat. Today's going to be an interesting day because we're changing some things up. We're changing things up. But I'm excited. All right, I think we've got everything set up. We can go ahead and get started. So, what is this new animator that we're going to be using? Well, it is reanimation by Aarthificial. Now, if you don't know who Aarthificial is, he's a game dev YouTuber who also builds like tools for Unity, open source tools as he's developing his game, which is really, really cool. And one of those tools is an animation tool that replaces the animator. It's not necessarily better, but it's better for what I need. And before I actually saw his video on it, I was thinking of creating my own animator, but just didn't really have a good idea on how that would work or what I would do. But then I saw his video and I said, you know what? It's open source. He's giving it out for others to use. So let's use it. So that's what we're going to do today. I've already installed it into the project. Let's go and find it. Reanimate. I just called it reanimate. I think the full name is reanimation though. He's got 2 videos on it, I believe. One kind of announcing it and then another kind of explaining it a little bit more. We might have to watch the explanation a bit. The only thing is there's no graph. Now, there was this other guy that made a graph for it. But the graph seemed to be causing some issues. So maybe we'll try to reinstall the graph. But even if the graph doesn't work, we can still deal with it. We don't need it. Okay, it's called reanimator, I think. Okay. Well, in that case, let's not do the graph because I think it was when I tried it, it was broken in it. I don't want to have to go through all that again. Let's do just a normal animation. So okay, so we've got the hero. And we have, oh, interesting. Okay, so this is animation. This is reanimate. So reanimate, that's the project files. So we'll go, you know what, can we just, I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. Okay, so animation, we've got hero. We can remove pretty much all of these, which is, what is this one? That is one of the nodes, actually. Okay, let's just delete it. Very good. Let's see, what is this? Saying it's missing something. It has the camera. There's a camera right here. Hmm. I think it was a, that should do it. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be camera. Okay, that should fix it. I don't know what was wrong with that. Something weird. Okay, so let's get back on track. I'm going to maximize this actually. We're going to get into these files, start creating some states. So let's create a folder. This is going to be reanimate switches. And reanimate nodes. You know what? We can remove reanimate because it doesn't really help us. We can't see what the folders are actually about. Okay, so this animation program, the way it works is that there are switches and there are nodes. So the switches pretty much decide which path you're selecting. So let's say that we have two switches. One is for when we're on the ground, and one is for when we're in the air. So technically that'd be one switch, but we're switching between ground and air, right? Now, if that's the case, the nodes are the animation themselves. So we do switch, 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 all the way to the animation, right? And so the could be idle would be ground switch directly to idle because that would be the default. But if we're moving, then it would switch to either a walk or a run, right? Or a dash and go like that. That's how it would be. A few other things that are pretty cool is the driver. He uses drivers to kind of switch through the animations, and it can actually create sound cues. You can set up which leg is in front of what. You've also got mirrored animations where you can change the animation based off of the direction of the player, which is exactly what I need. Both of those features are going to help tremendously. It's going to be a lot of work, though, trying to get through all of the animations. And the animations are still changing quite a bit, but this should be good. One more thing. We have this run animation. I think it's this one. Yeah. So we have this run animation that is pretty much the run animation we have in the editor already in the game, but this one is a little more finished. Still missing a few things, but the arms are in, and I think I fixed the kind of stuttering of the shoulders to make it a little more smoother. A little more smoother. Anyways. So we need to export that, and that's what we're going to be testing with this and the idle. And what we want to do is if we're running, we want to run with this. If we're not, we want to be in idle state. Okay, so let's export this. Export sprite sheet. I think that looks good. Let's see. Where do I have to do it? Output. What is the sprite? Visible sprites. Let's make sure there's nothing. I don't think there's anything around. That looks good. Output file. Sprites. Hero. Sprite sheets. And then this one is running. We can export that. Okay, so now we should have a brand new running animation or running sprite. You know what? All of this is not needed. We can delete that, as well as all of these. Prefab is broken, so oops, cancel. Hold on. What just happened? Oh, I think I know. I think instead of using a normal sprite, it was using one of those that we just deleted. But okay, that's the normal sprite we want. Okay, so we've got idle and we have running. So let's make sure we import this correctly. I just realized, no, yeah, this is 128. Perfect. Okay. Okay. We need to do multiple. Bingo. We go point, and then we go, there it is. Okay. Sprite editor, and we need to slice it by the grids. It's not 64, it's 128 by 128. Slice. Apply. All right, and now we've got some nice running. Perfect. Okay. So now with these two things, what we can do is we can select this. We can create reanimator, simple animation from textures. Okay, so now we have this idle animation. All of these are the textures, right? So this is looping through this. We see, okay, idle animation 0 to 11. Perfect. We're gonna do the same thing with running. I'm gonna create a simple animation from the textures. And we're going to rename it. Okay. So these two, we're gonna drag back into our animation for the hero. And these are the nodes. These are the actual animations. Now, something that's interesting that is the reason we kind of need this is because, you know what? Our music stopped. Why did our music stop? Excuse me. There we go. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so the reason we need this is because of this. It's called a driver. What we can do is pretty much set up, okay, on running 1 or running 0, we have leg and 0 will be left, right? Okay, so now we know that, or sorry, right. So we know that the right leg is starting on this animation. So if we are on the right leg while walking or jumping or whatever it could be, we can switch directly to this one and start the animation through that one, starting at 0. But let's say for a moment that in fact we need to start with leg, the left leg, right? So now it would start at this one and loop through. So that's pretty genius. That's pretty great. Now there are a few things I still don't understand. Like there's temporary drivers and all of that jazz. I'm not fully versed in the driver situation, so we're still gonna need to, learn a little bit more about that. But what we can do is right here, type in idle. Okay. We're gonna update that. Now we should be able to, on the hero, we need to put the reanimator in. Okay, perfect. Now the node we'll put as, or the root node, I mean, we'll put as the idle. Okay, the renderer is itself. FPS 12, sure. I'm not really too sure about that. Okay, so now if we click play, I'm curious, what is it gonna do? Because I see that the state doesn't allow me to change. Okay, previous and next, that is what we're looking for. It always deals with the previous state and the next state, knows where it is. So the previous state doesn't have anything yet. I think that's because we go to let's do idle 1, auto increment. We do this idle 1. Oops. Okay. Interesting. I might have to rewatch this video to figure that out. Is there just a normal root node that I'm supposed to be starting with? We remove this. It's just a normal reanimator mode. So, okay, let's try a switch. Wow, that was violent. A violent sneeze. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Okay, sorry about that. Let's get back on track. We're doing a switch node. So the first thing we want to switch between, I believe, is I think what we want to do is ground, air, hurt, death. In fact, no, that's not what we want to do. We want to do ground and air, I think. So let's do ground switch. Of course, this is all going to change eventually. Yeah, okay. So now we can put in our nodes. We can go to the next switch and so on and so forth. This is going to get a little complicated without a visual representation, I'm realizing. But for right now, we just want to prove a concept, right? When we push play, we want to be playing the idle animation. So let's figure that out. Let's pull up his video. Here it is. All right, so he talks about the transitions, how Reanimator works, the available nodes. He talks about drivers.
And we can define how this next state is influenced using the drivers property. Notice that cells are not the only part of the graph that can modify the next state. The entire node can do that as well. You can also do that from code, using the set method. It's probably obvious, but only the nodes and frames that are chosen during the resolution process apply their changes to the next state. Another thing is that by default, drivers are kept in the state forever. If I remove this driver from here, for example, it's no longer being set by anything, but it's still present in our state. We can change that by marking a driver as temporary, and now it's only here if it's actively being set by something. It's worth mentioning that you can attach an event listener to any driver you want. For example, the run animation sets the step event driver whenever a character makes a step, which triggers a sound effect.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The value doesn't matter here. If the driver has been set during the current resolution process, it will invoke its listeners. Moving on, another type of node is a switch. It works similarly to an animation node, but instead of cells, it chooses between a set of other nodes. So in our tree, these are the middle nodes, while animations are the leaves. We also have an override node, just like the animation override controller. It allows you to replace animations with other animations. In the demo, you can press H, which will activate an override and give you a hat. I haven't had the time to remake every animation, so just for the run, idle, and stopping. There are also mirrored animations. I use them in Astortion. They allow you to specify custom sprites for when the character is facing left. Currently, that's all the nodes. You can take a look at the reanimator folder to see how they can be connected together. Lastly, let's analyze the transitional animations, because they're extremely weird. As you can see, when we land, there's this quick squash animation.
All right, he did explain how to
so the animation will just use an auto-generated ID.
set the
But
driver.
still, our state is empty. There are no drivers in here, so we just fall back to 0 and choose the first cell. And if I do some rearranging, you can see that it's always the first cell being shown. In the past, to make this animation play, you had to do something like this. And I think you can already see what's happening here. Let me pause the game. Previously, idle was set to 1. Because of that, the graph chose the second cell, the cell with an index of 1. And the cell resolved, idle will be set to 2, and the third cell. Obviously, so let's remove idle from each cell, and instead I just check this auto increment option, which under the hood does the exact same thing as
okay. All right. So that's what we need. That is what we need. So it should already be doing that. But I think what we need to do is create a switch. And instead of a ground switch to begin with, let's do like an override type of switch thing. Okay. And then okay. Let's go to the nodes. We need to select the override switch at the very beginning. And then from the switch here, we can add in our idle and run, I think. All right, so driver 1. All right, not really sure if that's what we need to do. We might have to take a look again. Okay, we are perfect. So, okay, here we go. We're doing the idle animation. Very cool, very cool. Okay, this is good. This is good. Let's see if we increase the FPS to 24. Well, I'm really bobbing up and down there. Interesting. What if we cut it to 6? It's really slow. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's really cool. All right, so now how do we actually switch? Interesting. I think that's where we actually have to get into the code, right? That's where we have to set the driver that we need. So right now, the driver is idle 1. I believe. He explained how we can set it in the code. Let's take a look at that example. Okay, this was for the listener. Should be another one. Oh, that's the demo. Well, hold on. Okay, no, this is, it says the driver name. Right, so that's how you can get it, but it talked
Attach
about
an event listener to any driver you want. For example,
talked
the
about
run
setting it.
animation sets the step event driver whenever a character makes a step, which and if I do some next cell, but it also influences how the next state will look like. And we can define how this next state is influenced using the drivers property. Notice that cells are not the only part of the graph that can modify the next state. The entire node can do that as well. You can also do that from code.
Here we go. Okay, perfect. So driver name. Okay. Got it. Percentage driven animations. Okay, okay. Interesting. So at what point would it be percentage? I guess, let's say like there's a speed. I'm not sure. Okay. But now we have that knowledge now. So let's take a look at, what is it? This one? Or actually the run animation. Okay. Here we go. So this one we can do, the name is run. Okay. It auto increments. Let's take a look, see if anything's broken. No, it's not. Okay. So actually, what I just realized is, I believe, never mind. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Okay. No, I don't know what it, forget what I was saying. Okay, so now let's go into our, where is it? Hero movements. We're just going to try to do it inside of here. So when we're walking, I'm trying to clean this up too. Clean up the movement script a bit. Let's put our music back on. All right, we've got the inputs for move. Okay, so here, instead of that, what we should do is set the reanimator. Or let's see, what was it that, what did it look like again? It was reanimator dot set. Okay, so I guess we have to call the reanimator. That makes sense. So let's do, yeah, I need to clean up all of this. This, by the way, is for the next devlog. Not this one. We've got a new devlog coming out Friday. Patrons already have it. They get it a week early. And that's all about the tiles. And that's done. Now what we're working on is animation and player control. So we're gonna be cleaning all of this up. But I want to start with the animation because that's the biggest change. Whereas everything else is kind of like slight tweaks, a few additions, and a lot of cleaning. Okay. So reanimator. Okay. And then in start, we need to set it. Actually, we should be doing this the proper way. Let's clean all this up here. Kind of in the way. Okay, so actually the way that my character works is that hero base contains all of the component structures. So we would actually put it here. Okay. And then perfect. Okay. Let's change the names here. All right, so now when we go back to hero movement, we don't actually need to set it there. We just go hero base. All right, well, hold on. We'll need to actually comment these out. That way they don't ruin us. All right, we don't need that either. Go back to move right here. And I believe it was here that we had it. So hero base dot reanimator dot set. Okay, good, good, good. Now we've got the driver name. So let's do, we're moving, right? So it's run true, I believe. And then well, let's just see what that does. I'm curious. Let's take a look. Uh-oh. Ah, yes. I forgot. We need to comment the rest of these out. Okay, that should do it. Ooh. I forgot how far reaching we were setting the animations to. We should be able to fix all this pretty easily though, once we're done. Okay, that fixes that. We still have more. Crazy. Okay, let's hero health. Let's see. All right, yeah, we don't have that. Don't have that yet. Okay, that does that. Now the collision manager. One good thing about this animator though is if you noticed the ledge climb, if I were to climb the ledge, it would kind of snap and then the character would, our player would jitter and kind of teleport around a bit for like a split millisecond. This should fix that issue because it keeps everything pretty much timed the way it's supposed to be. So it's per frame instead of whenever the animator feels like it. So pretty much we should be able to have a lot more fine control on what we're trying to do. All right, we're still playing idle. Okay, so that did not work. We were not able to. Interesting. Do I have to set the idle to false? Let's try. Okay, and then let's make sure that our run animation is auto increment. Yeah, it does. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what it does. Will it work? Interesting. Okay, so interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. So it says supposedly that it goes to run 1. So at awake or at start, we set it to true. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's not the right place to be doing it. Okay, so that's to figure out the direction, but where is the actual movement? I think it's down at the bottom. That's dash. Okay, here we've got the speed, movement. All right, moving right here. This is what I'm looking for. That's where we need to set it. I think that might hopefully fix it. No, nothing. Okay, let's see what is the state that it's at right now. Again, it's on 1. Let's do 2. 3. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. We'll figure this out. We will figure it out. we have to set it to 0? Let's take a look at his example again. Okay, so he's setting it to 1, which means it's like the first animation. Or, well, the second technically, because of the way that Unity numbers things. But, so he sets it, then he sets it to true. Okay. Let's do what he did. But you know what? I'm realizing in our override switch, we never actually decided necessarily which is which, did we? No, I guess that this is what decides that. Let's push play, see what it says. Let's take a look at the states. So it says the previous was run 1. The next is idle 1. That doesn't make any sense. If I just remove that, yeah, so now it starts playing. You can see the state, it's cycling through. Okay, let's take a look at the switch. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Okay, so we need to set this as its own thing. So override switch. Okay. And we don't want it to auto increment. It's just that's what it is. And so of course we need to switch it here. So instead of all this, we set the auto. So, all right, override switch. We set it to 1. Let's see what that does. That did nothing. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So that didn't work. But why did it not work? Let's see if he explains switches a little bit more.
State. the entire node can do that as well. You can also do that from code, using the set method. It's probably obvious, but only the nodes and frames that are chosen during the resolution process apply their changes to the next state. Another thing is that by default, drivers are kept in the state forever. If I remove this driver from here, for example, it's no longer being set by anything, but it's still present in our state. We can change that by marking a driver as temporary, and now it's only here if it's actively being set by something. It's worth mentioning that you can attach an event listener to any driver you want. For example, the run animation sets the step event driver whenever a character makes a step, which triggers a sound effect. The value doesn't matter here. If the driver has been set during the current resolution process, it will invoke its listeners. Moving on, another type of node is a switch. It works similarly to an animation node, but instead of cells,
Okay, here we go.
it chooses between a set of other nodes. So in our tree, these are the middle nodes, while animations are the leaves. We also have an override node, just like...
Okay, he kind of just glosses over it. Okay, so it should work like a simple animation node, meaning that I think our idea should be working. I think. Let's just try it again. I removed those other drivers. I'm not sure what those were for. All right, so we're doing the idle. We've got idle animation. Oops. What if we set it to 2? Does that change anything? Okay. So that makes no sense to me. It should be that if I set it to 1, it plays the run animation. If I set it to 0, it should play the idle animation. If I remove this, then it's running. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so it's whatever's first, right? Okay, that makes sense. But now we need to figure out how do we change it from first to something else. If we do auto increment, what will that do? Isn't it going to go all crazy? Yeah, now it goes all crazy. Exactly. That's what I thought. Oh wait, we still have auto increment. Okay, so now we're running. All right, is it gonna go all haywire again? No, it just goes straight to run. Okay, hold on. But now if we set this to 0, wait, no, this is set to 2. What? That doesn't make any sense. It's back to run. Says override switch is set to 1. But now if we clear the drivers and play again, it's idle. Exactly. Oh boy. All right. What am I missing? All right, let's just call it driver 1. All right, driver 1, easy peasy. Let's type in driver 1 here. See what it does. All right, so now it should play the run animation if it's working. When we move, that is. Okay. This doesn't make any sense to me. Now if we start off as 1, no, it's still the same thing. All right, but if we do override switch, we restart, then it's going to start playing the run animation. No, it doesn't. What in the world? Then what made it work in the first place? Okay, so it sets it to 1. Okay, we understand that. Now let's see if we're not moving. Let's set it back to 0. What is going on? Hmm. Okay, so let's rebuild this. Let's say, okay, the idle animation is right here. Now it's auto incremented, meaning that it's going through all of these. But if I were to say, instead of auto incrementing, let's pick one. Let's say, all right, 6. That'd be 5, I guess. So let's say when we're moving, we do idle 1, 5. When we're not moving, it's idle 1, 0. So now it should not be running through the idle animation. Okay, now we move. Let's check the state. It's setting it to 5. But it doesn't go back. I'm not moving now. All right, let's do some debugs. Moving. Oh, thank you, Stray. Yeah, 400 subs. Super exciting. It's crazy that the last video kind of just propelled me. I started out before that video at 141. So when I uploaded it, I had 141 subscribers. And after that video, I've just been gaining subscribers. It's crazy. I'm glad people are liking it. Okay, so now we should be able to see when we're moving, when we're not moving. It should say not moving now. It's saying moving. But we're not moving. Hold on, there's a problem. Okay, there's a problem. All right, moving should only be when we're actually moving. All right. Is it just one of those cases where you forget to put an else on it and it ruins everything? Moving equals false. What's wrong? What? Is it because it's a or? Yeah, that shouldn't be it. Interesting. Let's just copy this and invert it. Actually, move block should be just completely removed from these. All right, let's see what it does. All right, so now we should be not moving. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Not really sure why that is happening. All right, if movement is not 0 or velocity is not 0, moving should be true. And then down here, it says if moving and not dashing, not switching, not blocked, then move. That should make sense. That should be fine. Yeah, why is it keeping me from moving? Huh. All right, where was it? Hmm. This is kind of why we need to clean this up, though, because we've got variables where they really shouldn't be, and I think it's messing things up. All right, let's just remove the or here. See what that does. Okay, now we can move. Okay. Okay, so now it should be super duper easy. Right? It should be. We should be able to go down here and just change from that to, what was it? Override. Switch. Set this one to 0. or sorry, this one to 1. And then the other one to 0. Okay, we have to make sure that they're auto-incrementing. All right, this should work. This should be it. Okay. Okay, the idle is working. Stay. Okay. Why is it working? It should be working right now. That's true. Okay. Now override switch is 1. Why is idle still playing? The real question is, why did the run play at one point? I don't understand. It should be working. Question is, why isn't it? If I do auto increment, then everything will go crazy. Exactly. So why? I'm not able to add individual drivers to the nodes, so it's not like I don't know. This is the only thing I can think of. There is no running whatsoever. That's crazy. All right. Let's just try that. We just do override. it's not changing. So I don't... All right, so override is 1. So this is saying it's working just fine. Why doesn't the override switch actually change? I mean, it should be doing something. It says override equals 1. Okay. All right, we need to dive into the scripts. That's all we can do. All right, so reanimator, and we are specifically calling... What is it we were calling again? It was set. Right here. So the key is supposed to be the driver name. It's the string. Why are there so many of them? Okay, that's percentage. That's okay. So this is true. Okay, hold on. Let's try the true false thing again. I mean, I don't know. It's very confusing. Oh, sorry. Just hit the mic. Interesting. Okay. I really don't get it. Hey, Jubin. How's it going? Not much. Just trying to switch out the built-in animator for a animator made by Aarthificial. But it's not giving me the results I'm expecting. For some reason, it's not able to switch between these two, the idle and the run. And I'm really not sure why. You're procrastinating? On what? What do you have to get done? On a devlog. Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, I've done that too. Trying to get better at it though. Trying to get things done when they're supposed to be done. Live streaming definitely helps. Kind of is forces me, you know, to get the stuff done that I said I was gonna get done. Like, it definitely helps me to make more devlogs. Right, yeah. You got the ideas, you know what you want to do, but then doing it is the hard part. It's very true. What's your game about? The devlog you're making? This is so confusing. Game dev seems a lot easier as compared to making devlogs. Yeah, it's true. Depends on what your strong suit is. If you're programmer, game dev, it's probably easier to make the game. If you're a video editor or filmmaker, it's easier to make the videos. It all depends. Okay, so in Aarthificial's video, where he's kind of showing this, he says the root node, right? And it goes to the switch. These are root switch, the movement switch, right? So he's showing all these switches and they're able to interact and all that. That's great. But where was it? It was right before the listener. No, that's the listener right there.
You can also do that from...
Here it is. Okay, so this... Why is it doing that? Okay, let's take a look again. Maybe he said something that we missed
a moment ago. This is the basis of how reanimator works. We take the previous state, we feed it to the graph. The graph not only chooses the next cell, but it also influences how the next state will look like. And we can define how this next state is influenced using the drivers property. Notice that cells are not the only part of the graph that can modify the next state. The entire node can do that as well. You can also do that from code, using the set method. It's probably obvious, but only the nodes and frames that are chosen during the resolution process apply their changes to the next state. Another thing is that by default, drivers are kept in the state forever.
Okay. So, the drivers here, they apply their changes. Supposedly. But it's like going to the idle animation and clicking add a driver. But we don't need to because it's already auto incremented. And it's running just fine. The idle we don't really have a problem with. All right, thanks, Jubin. Thanks for tuning in. It's been fun. All right, so the moving, not moving, that works just fine. So all right, I feel like I must be missing something, right? There must be something wrong because it should work. Wait, what? What? Okay, how did it work? How did what what made it work? It was the name? The name was a problem? Okay, let's try changing the name again. Root switch. I can't believe it. Did I misspell something? Is that what happened? Interesting. Whee! Okay, so there's a lot more that I need to learn about this. Hmm. That is very interesting. All right, let's try one more. Let's make another. Let's make a jump, I guess, or something. I think I have. Let's see. We have a few things here. I think I have some newer animations. Crouch. All right, this was out of crouch. It was kind of more of a slide. Yeah, that was like a really big jump type of thing. that one doesn't exist. Oops. This we have, okay, that's just the slide. Okay. Yeah, that's that. Run jump. I need to fix that. Okay, let's do this one. Hold on. I need to export the sprite sheet. Oops. All right, sprites, hero, sprite sheet, and we call it jump. Okay. It is pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy that it's working. It has so much potential. I just hope I understand how to get what I'm trying to get, you know? But I'm sure I'll figure it out. Oh, that's right. We need to make it multiple. Slice. There we go. We'll move that to the nodes. There it is. There it is. All right, let's go back to our override switch. And we're going to grab the tethered jump. Let's add a new one. Okay. Now for the third one to happen, we need to be jumping. So we're just gonna, you know what? We're gonna do a really bad thing here and just, we're not supposed to be moving when it is happening. So let's do if jump. And then let's do else. And in the else, we're actually gonna take this, put that in there. Otherwise, it's gonna be set to 3. That should do it. All right, good. I'm idle, good. I'm running and jump. Uh-oh. Jump. I thought jump. Yeah, if jump. Okay, let's move these debug logs. I really thought that was gonna work. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm dumb. This has to be 2, not 3. What was I thinking? All right, that should fix it. Okay. Okay. I get it. I get it. I have to do... I have to do something more. If herobase.rb velocity.y is equals 0. Okay. Run. Looks good. Idle works. Interesting. What if I just take this out? Just put it here. That'll probably fix it. Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. Let's find the definition. It's a bool. Yep, that makes sense. Should be called right here. Yep. Is it triggered? That's the question. Okay. Jump should be working perfectly. Why is it not? Let's put this where we actually apply the jumping. If this doesn't work, I don't know what will. I don't really understand why it wouldn't work. Okay, so it works, right? I mean, is that the animation? I mean, it's changing, so it seems like it should be working. But it's not doing the full thing. Oh, of course it's not doing the full thing. We haven't finished it. Duh. We didn't auto increment. Of course. Okay. This should fix it. Okay, it's kind of doing a weird thing. All right, so I think in this case, instead of auto incrementing, what we need to do is set up the driver called, okay, global driver, just jump. Add, okay. Now, in each of these, we need to set it one forward. So this one has to be 1, 2. Oops. 3, 4, and this one has to be 4 again. Yeah. Okay. There it is. Perfect. Okay, so that way it doesn't loop, and it'll just hold. And that's where we would actually transition to another animation that, you know, needs whatever. Makes sense. All right, so we've got 3 animations in. We've got the run. We've got the jump. And of course, we have the idle. That's pretty good. Ooh, super sore. I've started working out a little bit more. I'm starting to get sore. But this is really good. Once I get this down, I think it'll be a lot easier than the animator, because the animator was a mess. It was a mess. It was really, really bad. I was making it work, and it can work. I could keep working with it, but it's a little too much. And I think this one is a little better. It's switching the animations, I think, in a better way. We can also set like which part, depending on, like, let's say the left foot is out, we can set the left foot of the run to start. You know, like, we can do a whole bunch of cool stuff that the animator built in would never be able to do. So that's really where the big draw is, because also, I mean, I haven't talked too much about this, but I want the player to not just be mirrored. It's going to be a different, like, all the animations are going to have the mirrored variant, and this allows for that mirroring to happen pretty seamlessly, I believe. So, and then it'll also have transitions and all that stuff. I'm trying to make it as smooth as possible, and I hope it works. I think this is the best bet, though, for an animator that will do everything we wanted it to do. It seems like it's working, and so I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, I really like it. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to use this for NPCs, enemies, all that stuff, which are going to be coming up pretty soon. So definitely want to learn this. So not in the 11th, but this is for the 12th devlog. So 11th is already all set to go. It's going to be released this Friday on YouTube. It's already out on Patreon, like I mentioned earlier, to patrons a week early. So last Friday. But yeah, so not this Friday, but in February. A Friday in February. I think mid-February is when I'm trying to release it. We're going to be talking all about the animations and hero movement, the script for player movement, character control, how to make it exactly the way I want. And it's kind of hard to tell, what do I want? But the thing is, when you see this, either there's a problem with the animation or with the movement speed, because it's not lining up quite right. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe the animation is just too... I don't know. I don't know what it is. But animations are definitely going to be refined over time. The main thing is I need to get all of the animations down on the right track. So if that means, you know, if I decide every animation is going to have 12 frames, well, then I need to make sure that every rough draft of an animation has 12 frames, or, you know, things like that. That's what I need to work on. We might work on animations for this devlog too, like might add some more animations. I really need to add a layer jump animation to display when you're actually jumping through the layers. But I haven't worked on that yet, and I'm not really sure what it's going to look like yet. So until I have an idea, I don't really want to make something look not, you know, look that great. But we have to get started, so I have to keep thinking about it. But this next devlog, that is devlog 12, all about animation. That's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to keep working on the animator. We're going to possibly add our own functionality to it. If there's anything that we need to add. Now there is override animation things for like adding clothing or stuff like that, which we're definitely going to need to use, but we might need to modify them to make it work. I also need to start drawing some, you know, more clothes and options for the for our hero here. But all of that and more is coming soon. So stay tuned, subscribe, leave a like. Thanks for watching, guys. I think I'm going to end the stream here, and I'll see you guys next Monday. And Friday, don't forget, devlog 11, all about tiles, is coming out. Hope you guys will enjoy that one. All right, thanks for watching the stream. See you guys later. Bye.